Hey guys, it's Melissa, and I'm coming to you this morning from my office here in Somerset. And I just wanted to make a quick video and get on here and do a little education. Something that's been really heavy on my heart and mind lately in working with some of my clients and some of the things that I'm seeing is the way that our childhood experiences impact us as adults and the way that we walk through life and how we show up for ourselves and for other people. Specifically, one of the things that I've been dealing a lot with lately is being the adult child of an alcoholic parent and growing up inside of a dysfunctional home. So, some of you may have had an experience like this. You may have been raised by one or more alcoholic parents or drug addicted parents, or you may have just had a high level of dysfunction and chaos and confusion within your home structure. Either way, that impacts how we interact within ourselves in our internal dialogue as adults, as well as how we show up for our own children, how we show up in relationships, and how we perceive the world and how we experience the world and how we interact with things going on around us. Having an adult parent who is an alcoholic can impact our sense of self-worth, our sense of being, and even our sense of safety and how we find safety and what we expect as far as safety in a relationship. So a lot of things, there are some very common character traits that rise up out of a person's personality and how they engage with other people when they were raised in a home with an alcoholic parent within that home. So if you had an alcoholic parent within your home, then there was dysfunction and chaos to some level within your home as you were growing up. There is not a lot of things that you can anticipate, things that are going to be true across the board every day, routine, consistency, reliability, knowing that things are going to be taken care of, either if that's in regard to your emotional needs or maybe it's in regard to your physical needs, whether or not there's going to be enough food, whether or not bills are going to be paid. There's just a lot of insecurity and instability in a home when you're raised by an alcoholic parent or a parent who is addicted to substances. And so what happens is we end up taking on more responsibility as a child. We feel like we have to grow up faster. We don't feel like we have this period where we get to enjoy being a child. There's a lot of worry. There's self-esteem issues. Sometimes there's a high level of criticism or verbal abuse or physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional and other practical types of neglect that occur within that family, and that impacts how we live our lives as adults. And sometimes we want to say that happened 20, 30, 40 years ago, and that's in the past, and I was a child and I have grown past that, and that doesn't affect my life anymore. But that's not the case. And so if you were raised in a home with an alcoholic parent or a drug addicted parent, then it is probably time that you talk to somebody about your childhood experiences and how that is affecting your relationships and your ability to be a mother or a father or a grandparent or whatever the case might be today. Or even trying to heal and reconcile and forgive some of those relationships and some of the things that happened to you or that were done to you or overlooked. There are also some common things within these type of family relationships, and people often report being sent messages like, we don't talk about things that go on inside of this home, outside of this home. We don't feel our feelings, we stuff those down and repress those and move on with our life, and we cannot trust other people. We can't even trust ourselves. And so that is talked about often in lots of books and articles, and it's called Don't Talk, Don't Feel, Don't Trust. And so studies have been done across the board, and there are common reoccurring themes that we're seeing when we are adult children of alcoholic parents. Sometimes we find ourselves in a codependent relationship, and what that can look like is we are working harder to solve the problems and fix things for the other person than what they are trying to solve the problem and fix. And it's a very unhealthy dynamic. There are very rigid family roles, and there's rebellion and just a lot of different things. So I just want to get on and do a quick video. Just this may be the first time that you've heard anything like this. This might be the first time. Maybe there's some light bulbs that are going off that are like, I wonder if that's the reason that I'm doing some of the things that I'm doing. I wonder if that's why I feel this way. A lot of times adult children of alcoholics feel like they just don't fit in. They feel like nobody really understands what life is like for them, or they view and see the world differently. They feel a little bit isolated as they walk through life. Sometimes we have our own character traits that are very chaos driven and unpredictable. Sometimes we are very reactive to things that are happening in our life, and our emotional experience can go from 0 to 60 very quickly, and it's like there's either no emotion at all and we're cold and there's a wall, or we're very emotional and very passionate. Sometimes adult children of alcoholics become alcoholics themselves, or we struggle with substances ourselves, and so there's a tendency for that to continue. Self-esteem can be low. Understanding what a healthy relationship looks like, knowing what normal is a big one. Adult children of alcoholics have a very hard time defining what normal should look like, what healthy should look like, and how do we even achieve that? How do we break these generational curses? How do we stop this snowball from rolling down the hill and affecting our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren? And so one way to do that is to get into therapy, talk with your therapist about what your childhood experiences were like, do some narrative therapy. What kind of things are you believing about yourself and other people? How are you showing up in your relationships? Are you finding yourself being codependent? Are you sabotaging your relationships? Are you being hypercritical of other people in your family? Or are there situations within your family where things aren't safe to talk about? There's not a safe place. We're not attending to our children emotionally, or we are hyper reactive and we're just really blowing our top at the drop of a hat. And so a lot of this has been on my mind lately, pretty heavy, and so I just wanted to share some of this with you guys. If you are the adult child of an alcoholic, or the adult child of someone who had some type of substance abuse issue, please reach out and let's talk about that a little bit more. You can have a free consultation, just kind of run some things by me and see, if therapy is right for you. You can reach me at 606-392-3958 or southernkentuckytherapy@gmail.com. And let's raise some awareness of some of the issues that we face as adult children of alcoholics.